Welcome to the Department Chair Leadership Podcast, where the goal is to improve organizations and serve students one leader at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Jochum. If you're a department chair in higher education or any type of educational leader, and you want to improve yourself to better serve and influence those you lead, you've come to the right place. Because the best way to improve an organization is to improve its leader. Let's get started. Hey, before we get into today's show, I know many of you are starting to plan for your professional development needs, be it training or speaking, for the upcoming academic year. Listen, if you're in K-12 or higher education, I have a number of topics and modules that I know will add value to your faculty, staff, and leaders. So let's talk. Go to cjleadership.com and you can find my contact info, and you can also find that in the show notes. Can't wait to add value to you, those you serve, and your organization. Welcome back to the Department Chair Leadership Podcast. Really appreciate you taking some time, as always, to invest in yourself and those you serve. Today, very, very excited. We have a great leader, a great educator, overall advocate for students. Going to talk about a lot of things that I don't care where you lead, what organization, you're going to take something away. So please get ready. So happy to be joined by Mr. Josh Tovar. He is currently the principal at Memorial Parkway Academy in Garland, Texas, and career educator. He's taught at many levels. He's been an administrator at many levels, and just want to get started and let you hear from Josh and all of his wisdom. So Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm very excited that you reached out to me and you gave this humble Hispanic a little platform to talk about one of the great things that the Lord has blessed me to be on a path towards leadership. I really appreciate it. My name is Josh Tovar, principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA. Ready to rock and roll with this young man. I don't know, are we audio or are we visual? Are we both?
This will be audio when it's published. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I got this young man right now. We're on fire, ready to talk about leadership, because it doesn't matter where leadership takes place, whether it be at the 7-Eleven, at a high popular area, at the Buc-ee's, or at Walmart, or at the little elementary school, Montessori, or at the University of Temple. Doesn't matter where, because when you're in a leadership role, it's about how we remove obstacles. Remove obstacles, because you're in charge of a sphere of influence. And under that sphere of influence, everybody under you in that umbrella has to get the job done. And what are you doing to remove obstacles, to clarify what the vision is? And what are you doing to make sure nothing gets to your desk? And we'll talk about that later on, because it's your job that the people under you take care of their business 100%. And if it gets to your desk, you have the clear conscience that you coach them, because we're coaches as leaders. We're coaches, that you coach them on how to stop every noise from getting to your desk. So, hey, so-and-so send me this problem. I got it. I know that they handle everything from A to Z. And we'll talk about what my 3 rules are in public education administration later. So I'm very stoked. Thank you for inviting me, for being here. And let's talk leadership, Chris. Let's go.
Awesome. Hey, wonderful. Great energy. And I hope people can hear that and feel that. Well, hey, Josh, one thing that I can see from afar is that it is very clear that in your building, you have a sense of community. You have a sense of pride, and you do a lot of things with your students. So jump right into that, because I think it's safe to say you're one of the best at creating a culture, and maybe even give our listeners a little overview about your school, the kids you serve, and what you're all about.
All right. So thank you for giving me that awesome open platform to talk about my Jaguars. Our Jaguars, and it's crucial to know that kids have a place to go to. Everybody wants to be part of something great. Look at everyone that wears the merch for a Super Bowl champ. Look at everyone that wears the merch for a hockey team, Stanley Cup champ. Whoever it is, if you believe in the product, you will wear and sport the colors. You will promote the colors. That means that you are aligned to that vision. whether it be successful or not, but something tied you into that vision. I always promote where I'm uh, someone in a point of either support or leadership. And as you can see right now, and we're not seeing it, I always sport my MPA shirts. I always believe in branding because people need to know the fabulous things that are taking place by the adults at that campus, by the awesome Jaguars that are going there 24/7, thinking of nothing but success. What do we do there? What we do is a three-part program. Number one of the program are kids that come in from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Vietnam, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico. Name the country, we got them. Right now, we have 8 different languages coming in. And a lot of these kids are from middle school all the way to high school. So I've got 10-year-olds all the way to 19-year-olds in the same building who have zero, here we go, zero knowledge of English. And it's the awesome job of our beautiful family, our familia, to educate those kids and promote them to go to their comprehensive schools. I am that kid. I was that kid that was born in another country who was just dropped in the middle of a high functioning El Paso community where we had all of Fort Bliss. We had military members and their wives were our teachers from North Carolina, from Kentucky, from Tennessee. They didn't know no Hispanic called Federico Josué Tovar. They didn't even know how to say my name. So the whole thing is, I need to make sure that I give our Jaguars the tools to be successful at the comprehensive high schools. The second part of our program are kids that are not successful at the comprehensive high schools, the kids that are teen parents, the kids that have issues with the law, the kids that were like me. I was that kid also that ditched a lot. You ditched a lot. You didn't get credits. You're 17 years old. You have 9 credits. You need 26 to graduate. That is the lost child. You know how we talk about in American society, the ones that get lost through the cracks? Well, we are the safety net for our community. We are there to make sure we love them, engage them, and push them forward to society and make them the best version of themselves. That way they could follow their dreams. That the whole issue is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So go find your pursuit of happiness with your high school diploma and then go for those dreams. And the last part of our program is we call it the blended program. The blended program are the kids that I just addressed from Vietnam. We have a large group of kids from Vietnam that are 17 and 18-year-old, but they're only coming to me with 3 credits, with 6 credits, and they are illiterate in English. They might have some English, but they're not at the advanced level. They're not at the advanced high level. So our job is to get them well versed as well as air quotes as we can, and then stick them into that other non-traditional program. So those are our 3 programs. And let me tell you, to create success in that school, which happens always, you have to have a great group of team members. And those team members are always on fire for their kids, loving them, encouraging them, promoting the best in them. Because you know what? We're not in the business field. We're not in the history field. We're not in the English field. We're in the kid field. We're here to help kids be successful and best versions of themselves. And so connecting with them is how you will move ahead. And in leadership, if you don't connect with those under your sphere of influence, they will not follow. They will be saboteurs to your vision. They will get in the way of what you're bringing to the table. And if you're not on top of that, then that will create issues. So you asked me the last part, what are the 3 things that I feel? I was an assistant principal. I've been an assistant principal at the elementary level. I've been an assistant principal at the middle school level. I've been an assistant principal at the high school level. I've been a high school principal 7 years, I think, already. I've also taught at the University of Phoenix, at Park University, and El Paso Community College. So within all of those areas, I've learned a lot, especially 13 years an assistant principal. So under the chair that I currently sit in, the leadership chair of a high school principal, I have 3 rules. Rule number 1, there's only one boss. I was the one that interviewed for that chair. I was hired for that chair because they believed that I brought something to the table for that school. You select the right fit, just like in the book Good to Great. You find the right fit for the position. Even in the energy bus, you put the right people on the right seat on the bus. So they believed in me to be the principal of that school. So if you're the assistant principal under me, remember, Do everything I tell you to do, because soon you will be the principal in a school. And that assistant principal, you're there to assist the principal. Let me say it again. The assistant principal is there to assist the principal in his or her vision. Don't question it. Don't say you could have done it differently because you didn't interview for that chair. You will soon. And when you do get it and earn it, then you're going to want your assistant principal to follow your vision. Now, if you're not successful, those above you will remove you. And that's what happens. That's a reality. They will remove you and put someone that is the right fit at that moment for that population. Rule number 2, do everything from A to Z. Whatever is in your plate, you do everything from A to Z. If you're done with your job at 4 o'clock at the end of the day, go home. Get out of there. Go with your family. Go spend time with Netflix. I don't care, because you did your job. But if you didn't finish your job and you have to be there till 1 in the morning, like I did so many times, you stay at work and you finish your job. Because no one cares at all if that was your duty. And you cannot think about anything else because you wanted that chair. You interviewed for that chair. And when you get those gold cuffs, you know what? And when I say gold cuffs, people might not know what I'm talking about. That means a higher paycheck. When you get those gold cuffs, you better do your job effectively. And number 3, don't splatter. Number 2 and number 3 are tied together, because if you did go to your son or daughter's birthday party and you didn't finish your report that was due at the principal's desk, you just splattered him or her, because maybe she or he had to turn in that report to their boss. You cannot splatter somebody else by your inefficiency as a leader to not do the tasks that were done before you or asked for you to do. So those are my 3 rules. Number 1, there's only one boss. You don't undermine the head coach. You don't. And we've seen that on football teams. We've seen that in leadership when the people that are underneath, well, I would have done this. Or if I was in charge, well, then why didn't you apply? Then why didn't you get the diploma? There's tons of money. What is that? Monday day quarterbacks or whatever it is. Number 2, do your job A to Z. Whatever time it takes, do your job A to Z. Do it. That's what you interviewed for. And if that principal, if a new principal comes in or a new leader comes in and says, those are not your new duties, but I've been doing this forever, tough. You get the duties that are belong to that chair. So if I readjust your duties, deal with it, because that's what that echelon of leadership is. And number 3, don't splatter. Do your job right. And if you don't take care of that, then the whole organization will look bad.
Obviously, a lot to unpack there, but I think it's one thing that really resonates with do your job. And I don't know if you found this, but part of my philosophy, especially when you take over and it's a new culture, is don't empower people beyond their job description. Meaning sometimes you might find people that with the best of intentions were doing something beyond A, B, and C. And while they were doing it well, it probably wasn't part of their job, and it put something just was out of balance with the organization. I've heard some of my own mentors and people say that on the tough days, remember you applied for the job, you signed up for this. Leadership is a higher calling. We're in a people business, so I do want to jump on that, Josh, because whether it's in your school, in higher education, heck, in a factory, in a bank, how do you go about managing? Because I'm sure you still have people problems, you still have conflict. How do you go about not only managing that, but doing so in a way that clearly still enables you to create that great culture, getting the right people on the bus, as you mentioned?
Look, let me explain to you one of my journeys. At the original district that I was hired, I was for sure not looked upon in a nice way. And I don't lie, Chris. I will speak the truth 100%. All right. So hey, if you're stuck in a business, in a district or somewhere that you're not happy and you're not given the opportunity to move up, keep on doing a great job, but look out there. Look someone that will acknowledge your hard work and your dedication. So a neighboring district, long story short, after 13 years, like I mentioned, Chris, I was guaranteed, and I was told, not told, but told, I would never interview for a principalship ever. I wasn't even given. And so that's fine. You get that mindset, I'm not going to be given a chance. I'm going to be stuck an assistant principal forever. There's a lot of us out there. There's tons of us out there. I don't know how it works in academia, but in regards to that was where I was facing. But people acknowledged the hard work I was putting out there, using it on social media. They were seeing the work on social media. And so this one team member, Carmen Crocé, said, "Hey, beautiful woman. She's one of the people that opened the door for me in a neighboring district. Says, you want to come interview at this school? It's the lowest rated school. It's the worst one, the most discipline problems, the worst graduation rate, everything. Insert it. It's there." I looked with a big smile, go, "Sure, I'll interview." There we go. The Lord opened the gates, gave me that new pathway in life. I can let you know one thing, Chris. When I walked in there, I saw the climate survey that I was walking into. Teachers were at war with the kids. Kids were at war with the teachers. Kids were at war with each other. The scenarios of 300, 400 kids started a class were there. Physical fights all over the building. Insert your Hollywood movie. There you had it. Okay? I can let you know that with the support of the team members at that school, the same team members, that school went from a D minus to a B minus. 2,550 kids, depending on what taper report, that's our district, our state accountability. It's either 2,600 or 2,550. In 3 years, a school that size with a 97% Hispanic rate, 86 lower socioeconomic rate. That school was located literally next to the wall. The wall. Our kids had trailers next to the wall that we hear about always on TV, and we see it next to the wall. We used to have 400, 500 kids on a caravan of taxis from Juarez to El Paso to our school, and the taxi would just drop them off. In 3 years, the graduation rate went from 81% to 92% in 3 years. In 3 years. The same staff. How do you get to do that? How is that possible? They had more assistant principals than anybody else in the district. They actually had, air quotes, 2 acting principals to try to maintain the control. Number one, you show consistency to your vision. You show consistency by making sure that you remind them that it's about the kids. When we arrived, we did like 54 home visits acknowledging academics. So number 2 is you focus on what you want success in. What do you want success in? Obviously, I can't have success if people don't appreciate who you are, because adults and kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I'll repeat it again, even though you've heard me say it a million times. Kids and adults don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And they're not going to trust you because you're a stranger. That means you have to build your street cred. When you arrive there, you got to tell people, this is my street cred. Some people see that as arrogance. No, you're just telling people, I can do this job. There's an arrogance. If I was never in high school and I was a middle school principal or assistant principal, high school teachers would have looked down on me. They would have never believed in me. You have to bring street cred when you're applying to the position. I was an adjunct professor at 3 institutions that I gave you. The people with tenure never spoke to me. The people with tenure would ignore me or didn't even provide any kind of help. Have you ever talked to a senior AP English teacher and how they talk about the freshman English teacher? Have you ever talked about the freshman teacher, how they say that 8th grade teachers don't send their kids prepared to high school? Have you talked about the 6th grade teacher who blames the 1st grade teacher for not preparing them on their alphabet and how to read? That's the easy part. Blaming is always simple. It washes your hands of responsibility. But all that is conveyed by connecting with people, focusing on what your vision is, focusing on what you want success in, bringing the street cred, bring the street cred so that people do it, and be consistent. Be consistent. As I talked to a mutual friend, Darren Papard, it's about patterns of behavior. Patterns of behavior. If you establish a pattern of behavior as a leader, you will always be successful. And you cannot start something and not finish it. Once you start something, you have to be going. I don't know. In your field, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, Chris. I don't know in your field, but we call them the weebies. Do you know who the weebies are, Chris? The weebies are those people that are tenured, that they say, we be here before you, we be here after you. They're waiting for you to leave because the people that were at the school I was at, uh, they were getting principals every 3 years, something like that. They were rotating them left and right. Ah, flash in the pan. He'll go away. That's the mentality, right? So if you stick to those items right there, you got to show them that there's consistency to your vision. Doesn't matter what it is. And that's where you begin to build culture, Chris, which is what you address in your podcast. It's about the culture of loving people, and it's about the culture of academic success, because we are taking care of the future of this beautiful country of ours. That facilitator that's teaching 1301, insert your subject, that facilitator that's teaching junior and senior year, you're preparing the country. Those kids, when they graduate, will be the leaders of tomorrow. I'm preparing those kids that will possibly go to you or to a trade school, I don't know, or to the military, but I'm preparing them with their English, with their high school diploma. And they will only stay focused if they know that they're in a nurturing environment. Because you know this, Chris, being a leader, if people don't believe in you, they will sabotage you. They will ignore you, they will close their doors, and they will check off the box just to be in compliance. And you never want someone to be in compliance. You want someone to actually be into what you're bringing to the table. Can you get 100%? Never. Hey, leader, you will never have 100% buy in, because there are people in your workplace, there are people at Target, at Walmart, or O'Malley's, at 7-Eleven, at University of whatever, inserted, that are just hurt. And like I always say, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. And they live off of is toxicity. They get power from being that toxic soup waste. So if you ask, how do I, or what helps me avoid that? What has allowed me not to feel like, and Chris and I talked about this before we started. Hey, leader, look at the picture of Obama and Bush when they started being president. And then look at their picture when they left the office. That's leadership, baby. Look at them physically. Leadership drains you. We know the recipe for a great leader. And a lot of people don't have those ingredients. They think they have the ingredients, but they don't. We know the recipe for great leadership. And some people might have one or two, but if you don't have that pinch of salt, baby, that gumbo is going to taste horrible. You have to have all the ingredients for leadership. And what keeps me centered, what keeps me is, number one, my faith in the Lord, making sure that I always, hey, leader, take this for whatever it is. He said, if they slap you 40 times, offer it for the 41st, because you chose that chair. You chose to eat toxicity. You applied for the paycheck. So you got to deal with it. And another thing that I read once per year is Don Miguel, Four Agreements. You have to read it as a leader. And one of the four agreements is, don't take things personal. Don't take them personal. And the last thing, in regards to not taking things in, Chris, and making sure that things move along, I do not give credit. I do not give the spotlight to toxicity. I isolate it. I don't allow the malignancy to run rampant. And I have to address it. And I will address it. I will address the malignancy. And that's where a lot of leaders fall short, because they don't want to have awkward conversations. They don't want to have awkward conversations with the toxic people, because they're confrontational. Their body language stinks, and you just want to walk away. They're walking human porcupines, and you don't want to get close to those quills. Or you don't want to have an awkward conversation with a teacher that you love, with an employee that you love, but you know they screwed up. You still have to have that awkward conversation because it becomes a rock in the path of your vision. And you still need to be loving. You still need to be accepting. Hey, hey, look, you messed up on this. What happened? Make me understand. All right, boom, boom, boom. And if it's a one-time thing, we're all human. We're all flawed creatures. We all create mistakes, and I'm the first one to say it. But those that are rock stars, those that are runners, as Mr. Clark says, you spotlight them, you keep on pushing them ahead. Those that are porcupines, you try to find the right seat. If not, you try to help them to get off the bus.
So much there, Josh. First of all, one of my foundational philosophies in leadership, and one of the reasons I do this podcast, I truly believe that one, we can contribute to making the world a better place in some small way by improving people's leaders. Because people that show up with better leaders in organizations, not only are they professionally happier, but I think it contributes to their personal life. And I say the best way to improve an organization is to improve its leader. And you prove that. You went into an organization, by and large, the people that were not producing, disgruntled, fill in the blank, the day before you came, 3 years later, you turned it around. Now, what I'm curious about, because I can tell you in every organization, one of the hardest things to deal with are those toxic people. I am curious then, did you, I call it the culture keepers and culture killers, because I promise you the day before you showed up, the culture keepers, by and large, those that were promoting the poor culture, the people that wanted it turned around were probably the culture killers in their mind. And then you probably switched it. And I bet you statistically 75 to 85% of them went along. Did you have some people though that ultimately realized that the culture that you were promoting just wasn't a fit? Did you have some people leave? Did you have to make tough decisions? Or because I know people that just heard that great story are going to want to know, okay, did everyone turn it around, or did you have some difficult decisions and conversations?
No. Even today, you still have weebies. You still have rocks in your shoes. No. There is no one is scot free of weebies. We all have them. But you still treat everyone with respect. And you leader, you interviewed for that. That means you have those conversations, but you keep persistently role modeling the expectation. I cannot tell you enough. You need to role model. If you say everybody needs to slam dunk, baby, you better not be fat like me. You better be able to slam dunk that ball. You hear me? And you better be able to do it every single last day. So if you're supposed to say connect with kids, baby, you better connect with kids. And you leader, you better connect with your peeps. And you know what? There's just it's just human nature. Chris, agree with me or not? Tell me. There's just some human beings that you see and you just don't like them and you don't know why.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of affair. There's just some people that look at other people and they just look at them and say, "I don't like you." And that's just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned one thing, Chris. People hate those who make them feel their own inferiority. And so there's a situation there that when you're in a leadership position, that assistant principal that never got a chance to be a principal, that assistant coach that never became a head coach, that person that always thought that they were going to be in a leadership position, never got it, those are the people that will never be on your camp because they're hurt. And hurt people will hurt people. Your question to me is, do I still have that? Yes, even today. But all I'm presenting to you is this: the vision continues. You weather the storm, and I always think in the back of my brain. So, leader, this is another one that I think in the back of my brain. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. So, the toxicity, that will keep on moving. Think about a problem you had 5 years ago and it was real bad. You don't think about it anymore today. This too shall pass. And another thing that I remember is this: you address stuff, but do you really need to address it? One of my mentors, Luis Martinez, he always taught me this and ingrained this in all his assistant principals. Leader, hear this. Is this the hill you want to die on? Let me repeat that again. Is this the hill you want to die on? If you asked a team member to do this and they're the only ones not doing it, but you have 99% compliance, Is that the moment you blow your gasket? Is that worth it? Is that worth you being so pissed off that you're angry the rest of the day? You get home, you don't kiss your baby, and you kick the dog. Is it worth it? Are you empowering that we be so much? Don't ignore it. Charge on, as our superintendent says. Charge on. Move ahead, because that too shall pass. You still address it, and you know what? Whether it be a kid misbehavior or whether it be an adult bad choice, there's plenty of time to address it. You don't have to address things that same day. If it's compliance or policy at issue that has to go with HR, you know you got 10 days to do whatever you need to do. You address it within that time span. But if it's something that's minutia, but it's part of your vision, hey, you wait. You calm down. You're the role model. You're the leader. You calm down and you say, hey, I noticed last Wednesday this. Is everything okay? Is there something that happened? You ask them how you could help them fix the problem. Instead of saying, hey, Chris, didn't I tell you to put up the lesson frame? We had PD on this day. Chris, we had PD on this day. I told you in the last walkthrough to do this. Why haven't you done it, Chris? I've seen those two styles. And let me tell you, there's only one that really helps. Hey, I didn't see your lesson frame the other day, Chris. Is everything okay? Did something happen at home? Is there something I could help you? So you come across that way. And the next thing, you also don't get all volatile, like Todd Whitaker says, and sends those mass punishment emails. You know what I'm talking about. You broke the copier. So, the keyboard warrior administrator. That's me typing. Who broke the copy machine? Who didn't add paper? Who did not tell us? You're killing what you're creating. You're killing what you're creating. Is that the hill you want to die on? And if you know who broke it, why send the email? You're the toxic person. Anyone that sends emails with big capitals of do not or you must to everybody, you're toxic. You need to reevaluate the position that you're in. Because when you send that email for everybody, it was really meant for one or two. And you're killing everybody with your toxicity. Stop sending mass emails. It's not worth it. It doesn't help anybody.
Thank you for bringing that up. In my experience, and I've tried not to do that in my career because I remember early on as a new public school teacher, administrators doing that. In my experience, it not only demeans those that had nothing to do with it because you just ruined their morning with a negative email, but in some ways, those that are responsible, it almost provides cover. It almost provides, oh, well, maybe it wasn't me, or maybe I know I did this, but maybe 5 others did, so I'll just ignore it and do it again. What I'd also like to touch on, and those of you listening, I hope we have those from all areas of leadership. You might want to hit rewind because what Josh just talked about is so important. How you communicate with everybody, the messages you send. You have to be willing to address the conflict, address it head on. And what he said about in public schools, instead of getting on somebody for something in higher ed, ask somebody, I noticed you weren't at the meeting last week. Is everything okay? I've noticed there's been a pattern with something. I'm hoping that listeners understand now, yes, my background is teacher education, but there is a wealth of knowledge from leaders in what Josh does because they live it every day. I want to get back real quick to the culture, Josh, that you turned around. After the fact, did you have almost what I would call the silent majority come to you and say thank you? We've been wanting to see this turnaround. We've seen the problems, and thank you for being that leader that addressed it.
No. Um, there's a sad part of education. I don't know if you have it. I never had enough of a taste, even though I had some years at community college, but it was not a living in the bloodstream of the campus at the university level. But there's a sad thing about educators is this between and people say this laughingly and it's not. I don't think it's because it goes against the concept of team. I never say my teachers. Have you heard me say that? Have you heard me say my school? I don't say that. That there's no ownership because if there's ownership, then there's a difference. Does that make sense? It has to be a team thing. I always say team members, team members, team members. I never say my. So in our field, there's this ugly thing. You know how they say, "Oh, you went to the dark side." That means administration. So if you work in Walmart and you're hearing this and you're a general manager, in our field, I don't know if it works like that from cashier to manager, but people say, "Oh, you became management. You're the dark side." Okay, that ha ha ha. Insert your line. Okay, we also get that line of, "Oh, that's why they pay you the big bucks." That's fine. I trust me. I've heard it. I'm an old guy. I've been doing this for over 30 years, guys. I bring you reality. I bring you 13 schools. I've been in 13 schools. I bring you the street cred. There's this idea that if you compliment an administrator, sometimes then you're seen as a kiss up. And we get, I have always received a lot of backhanded compliments like, I'm not kissing up, but I thank you for this. Hey, just don't tell me anything, because then you're making assumptions. And if you say that publicly, you're protecting yourself from the undercurrent, like Jimmy Casas talks. There's an undercurrent. So people don't know what the golden age is when they're in the golden age. You don't know that you have it good until it's not there anymore. So people were appreciative. They were appreciative, but based on the way I took your question to me, no, there was not a upswell of it, because they always thought something was going to change. When I said, "Hey, look, we're a C campus. Hey, we're a B campus. Hey, look at our graduation rate," right? Since I've left, they already, and I think it's 3 years. I got hired here at an MPA at the start of the shutdown, March. Literally, I got hired over here. Since I've left in 3 years, they've had two principals. It's about maintaining. It's about maintaining your vision. It's about making sure that you are consistent with that human aspect and always acknowledging it. And like you said, Chris, there's just this whole idea of you could do everything possible as someone that sits in our chairs. Doesn't matter, again, Walmart, Target, or your university. You have to charge on with your vision as a leader, and you're not there, you will not get the slap on the back. You will not get the kudos, because you're not in it for that. When you're a leader, you're not in it for that. Do you really think that the current president applied for the job to hear all this trash? Or the previous president, or the previous president? All of us that are of our age, look at all the presidents. I don't care what color you are, red or blue, okay? I don't care how you voted. But do you think those people, when they were running for office, they wanted to hear all that? Or their grandchildren wanted to hear that about their grandparent or dad? No. All those things, I don't know if it's true or not true of this president, the last president, the previous president. Think of all the toxic that we hear about the leaders. When you're in a leadership position, your job is to take knives and smile when you get them, because we get a lot of knives. And that's the reality. And that's why people break when they sit in our chair. When they sit in our chair, because they can't handle the stress that is. That's why I talk about that spirit that leads you. The spirit just departs every single last day. Well, that's why I gave you the example of, look at the last two presidents when they started, George Bush and Obama, when they started as president, and at the end, it really takes a toll on you. So what are you doing? And one thing that I didn't mention, Chris, I listen to Chris's podcast every morning at 4 a.m., along with other podcasts. I get my PD going because, I need to hear, because I go to the gym 5 times per week. When I get off of this call, I'm going to go to the gym. You have to do something about your shell. The shell is the one that will always betray you, and it's not going to tell you it's about to betray you. And if you sit in that chair, it will attack you. I'm telling you, if you're not taking care. And it's not easy. It's not easy to eat healthy. It's not easy when you're putting in long works, working on your syllabus. It takes a toll on your body, and you got to take care of your temple. So that's why you work out, you acknowledge the people around you, you stay true to your vision, you move forward, you don't worry about every single last little problem, because that's when you will get stuck in the rut. So to answer your original question, now, go figure, people from other places that I've been at, we miss you. Please come back. We miss you. They call it the Tovar era. Again, I'm not here to toot my horn. I'm not here. I could only present data and facts. I could only present what do we do on social media about what my vision on what leadership is. So I highly encourage people to beg, borrow, and steal ideas, because that's what education is. And there is nothing that will take away from you from secretly learning from others. We could all learn from each other. We're human beings. That's how we evolved. That's how we keep on evolving, learning from each other. Because the best part of a leader is surrounding themselves with people that are smarter than you.
Josh, a lot of great stuff. Probably just a good place to end is that you've shown the value of leadership, the value of improving organizations, the value of improving people's lives, and what I think is part of my definition of legacy is the extent to which you affect people that you'll never meet. Any final comments or thoughts as we close the show?
Yes, I'm going to read you, and I know we don't do this on podcast, but it's only like 40 seconds. Something that I read every other week to remind me. After this, I think it would be a great closing mark. So, hey, leader. Hey, brand new assistant manager at IHOP. Hey, leader, person at O'Malley's. Check this out. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you're honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give them your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It never was between you and them anyway. Amen. Mother Teresa.
And with that, friends, thank you for joining us on the Department Chair Leadership Podcast, and we will see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Department Chair Leadership Podcast. If you want to learn more about my leadership philosophy and how to be an effective chair, please consider my book, The Department Chair, A Practical Guide to Effective Leadership. You can find this and learn more about me by going to cjleadership.com. Also, please be sure to like this podcast, leave a review, and share with your colleagues. Thanks again for improving your organization and those you serve by improving yourself. Take care.